parameters. Comes out onto the racetrack now. The big key. No, he's not. And there's Max Verstappen right behind Hamilton. Wheel to wheel. Hamilton and Verstappen. And this time Verstappen and Hamilton out. As Hamilton came from his pit stop. And in their desperation to stay ahead and to get ahead, the two are out of the Italian Grand Prix.
And Lewis is trying to get out of there, look.
That's what you get when you don't leave the space.
Have a little look then at what happened. Hamilton on the right-hand side. Verstappen have enough space in the initial part of that chicane.
Max hasn't done anything wrong there. Lewis can't cross over until the white line. See, Max's car hit the...
Back into the path of Lewis and then up into the air when his car makes contact.
And there we go, across the top of Lewis, the rollover who does its job, and the halo. And then I think Lewis got, obviously Lewis's rear wing, no wonder Bono told him to switch it off the rear wing. That was a scary, scary moment
even
there.
With the right tyre of Max Verstappen's Red Bull rubbing against by the looks of it, and Hamilton certainly trying to get as low in his cockpit as he...
Wow, that was a very, very near miss there for Lewis Hamilton.
Got a yellow flag out there, and that is the reason we have a Haas into the barriers. Valtteri Bottas has just gone quickest with a 1:17.0, but as you can see, Mick Schumacher against the barriers, and now a red flag as well. Last time we saw Mick Schumacher against the barriers, Paul Ricard, of course, the French Grand Prix, that was in qualifying one.
If you're not going to crash at any time, just don't make it FP3. But yeah, still a learning year for me.
That is what happened to Mick Schumacher. We've seen others make mistakes up there, but as you rightly said, a long way before the corner, that was heading to the barriers.
I think the rear tyre times would have been quite hot because he's already been sliding around. Yeah. We saw the previous couple of corners, and when he's arrived there at 11, I'm not making excuses for him because...
Is he okay? He went off. Yes, he's okay. He's out of the car walking.
And Hungarian Grand Prix is underway. Who is going to get off the start fastest? Max Verstappen into the middle of the track, but Lando Norris on the inside alongside Bottas. He's taken the position, and the Red Bull up into P2 behind Lewis Hamilton, who holds on to the lead. It's their 10 to damn they've touched. We've got cars all over the road and off the road there. 5 cars, 6 cars, and more contact there between the Ferrari and the second McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo. Lewis Hamilton untroubled out front, but it's all kicking off behind him.
The championship rival is out of the race for Lewis Hamilton. It all stems from Lando Norris crashing into Bottas. Has now got an Alpine going up the inside of the stricken McLaren there as they're all trying to weave their way through.
Verstappen's not out of the race, he's back there, he's just got damage.
As we see the start again, it all stemmed. Watch for Norris inside of Bottas. Max is well clear, along with locks up into the back of Norris. Norris into Verstappen.
Yeah, I think Perez took a massive hit to his cooling system. I think that's because his radiator was absolutely bust, and he's furious, and some big penalties.
And Verstappen coming into the pits now. So we've got Perez getting out of his car on the pit lane channel now. He's switched onto the intermediates.
So this up here over the white line into the back of Norris. It's just wheel straight.
Well, look at the damage there on the front of Bottas's car. And now that Bottas, he hadn't driven the car in these conditions. It was fast, and Rousel foam spread all the way down turn 1. That could result in punctures.
Go through that dip. Someone's had a big moment, and it's one of the Ferraris, I'm being told. And this is coming. Oh, that is going into turn 3. It's got a red flag, and it's Carlos Sainz. And you can see the Red Bull and the Aston Martin and the Alpine on the scene slowing down. But Carlos Sainz coming out of that little kink into turn 3.
Oh, sorry guys, I don't know what happened.
Now, I should imagine Crofty's lost the rear going through turn 2.
Yeah.
We've seen a few cars get a little bit light there on the rear.
You can see now.
That's 1B, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then that's 2. Yeah, just very late in how he's lost the rear. Yeah, it's actually sideways in. Yeah,
that is a really big hit.
Yeah.
And he's doing about 110, 115 miles an hour at that stage before he loses the rear. And that's a hefty impact, and I would be worried if I was Carlos Sainz about my gearbox there.
I think he's carried a bit too much speed through the corner, and it understeered. He went a little bit wider than he wanted to, and then that camber change has caught him out.
The weird thing is it's quite a slow oversteer. It's quite a slow moment, isn't it?
Coming around slowly, yeah. He'll be kicking himself about that one. And
this blind, long right-hander, super quick. Just a little bit of throttle lift through there. Oh,
that's another Williams, and that is a bigger impact. And that's Nicholas Latifi very much out of qualifying, and that is another red flag. And I dare say that could be this session not resuming as well, because there's only 1 minute and 38 seconds left on the clock. But first and foremost, let's hope Nicholas Latifi's okay.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
That is a big impact for Nicholas Latifi. Latifi, he's okay. He'll be winded, he'll be a little bit battered and bruised. He's out of qualifying, as is Yuki Tsunoda, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll and George Russell. Big look then as he drops downhill into
the dirt there. He's right on the edge or just over, and he does the same on the dirt on the turn in. There's a car on the inside. It never helps because it kind of vision into that corner, and he's going to put a wheel on the dirt, and that's what spun him.
We get to with Latifi, and as soon as the rear got away from him, he's seen of a barrier. That's a lot of damage to that. You always have to hope, as we did with Carlos Sainz today. A gearbox has survived that impact.
Those accidents when you hit the side, but that's a massive amount of G-force, and you can't have your bones into the wall, and he'll have a headache for a day or two after that.
So far so good as Giovinazzi keeps ahead of is Mick Schumacher into the famous now, turn 21, 22, complex to the barriers now. We've got our first safety car.
Are you okay, Mick? Are you okay?
Sorry about that.
Did he go too slowly? That is how Mick Schumacher ended.
It's very like Charles Leclerc, isn't it? In the back end, stepped out on the way in, straight into a cul-de-sac at that point, and you can see how well.
Tech Pro barrier to the right-hand side. You've also got a Formula One car arriving into turn 22. Around about 100.
Lost your last run, so if it comes down to the last run, I definitely think that we'll see. It might be prudent to go out first rather than...
Right, we've got a red flag, and I think Charles Leclerc might have hit the wall down towards... Oh, and he has. And he looks like he's gone in quite hard. Down at turn 12.
12, 6.
The marshals... He's getting out the car.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I am. It's fairly comprehensive.
Yes, look at the debris, look at the wreckage, but most importantly, look at the fact that Charles Leclerc has managed to jump out of the car and doesn't seem to be suffering any ill effects of what could be a very high-speed shunt into the Tech Pro barriers. Little look now, approaching turn 21 and 22. And rear's gone quite early on there, isn't it?
That is your worst case nightmare. I was talking to Martin about it earlier as we went around the circuit. I was saying that is the place you really didn't want to go off. In fact, if you went off slightly later, if you hit the barrier slightly later, it could ricochet across the track. But that was a full-on loss of control. And
that's about, Damon, I'd say about 150 miles an hour. He's approaching that corner.
He's turned in, and of course it's just started to rotate. He's carried too much speed or whatever. He's lost his balance, and
I'm sorry, guys.
That's all he can say.
A little bit higher pressure opens the grooves. Did that go round? Did the McLaren go round?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That's Lando Norris. Lando Norris has had a big off, and you revolving and turning around as everybody screens and waits to see. Lando Norris was saying it's getting very, very wet. We've got standing, and there is Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. He too was worried about the conditions. Lando is moving.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I see. It just started to wander into an oversteer and action that actually took him into the barriers. Well, Lando says a bit of aquaplaning, but it didn't stop him going for it. Moved into a bit of an oversteer, and as he corrected it, it suddenly had a too much steering lock on at that moment, trying to correct it, just took a big left turn, and it's the sudden stop that really hurts. And yeah, in the right direction as it went down the hill. Tethers on the wheels, the car start wheels flying up. We have lost one wheel, but the other three, the spectators, and that's what the tethers do. And
Marcin Bukowski is with us from the Alpine pit wall, the executive director.